Welcome back, guys, and let's continue where I left off at. Now, last video I was saying, look at the New England, look at their players versus, especially on offense. Look at their players and then look at everybody else's. Like it or not, before they got brought in Brandon Cooks, you know what I'm saying? Most of their dominant wide receivers. Well, no, I'll take that back. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't say just Brandon Cooks. They had Brandon LaFell, I believe, and some dude named Hopkins. You know what I'm saying? But Brady was just making it work with those guys. Out of those three African Americans, the rest of New England's wide receivers, well, pass catchers, so to say, have been predominantly white. Now, don't read too much into that when I say that, but also be willing to hear me out and understand why I brought that up. Now, look at all of those. Look at all the receivers that are, that aren't African American in their system. They have no egos. You know what I'm saying? They have none, no egos whatsoever. Although one could argue that a guy like Kevin Hogan, he could easily, with the resume that he's built up in New England, he could easily go to another team and be a number one. Yeah, I don't think he'd be even number two, you know what I'm saying? But he could be a solid number one receiver. You know what I'm saying? But by his own choice, he's deferred to stay there. He's chosen to stay there and be that optional role player. You know what I'm saying? Look across the league. That kind of shit ain't happening. You know what I'm saying? You want a clear example of that? Look at Pittsburgh. You know what I mean? Sorry about that, guys. But like I said, look at a team like Pittsburgh, who has an abundance of offensive talent. You know what I'm saying? One might even say that they superiorly outclass New England when it comes to just superior talent on offense. You know what I mean? Again, sorry about that. Got a text. But yeah, like I said, just look at a team like Pittsburgh that has an abundance of offensive talent. That's far more on paper. They're far more talented than what New England has to offer. Offensively. But when you look at it for what it is, New England continues to beat people because not only do they practice and teach and coach, fundamental football, but they practice, what's like the goal, like what, like the whole no catch thing with Jesse James. They practice that shit. Like, if you Bill Belichick's mind state is, I would much rather you go down knowing that we got a first and goal versus you trying to extend. You know what I'm saying? Trying to extend your